You're on.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to school, back to the new fall semester, or to the fall semester 2017. This is probably one of the most exciting times that I can recall in a long time. We have at least 40 new theory students. That room over there is just packed. For those that are going to be here, we have probably almost as many, not half of that online. So we have a really good online number. We also have a very good in-class number. So we may have to be making some room adjustments. Let's be a little flexible. If the theory on in class on campus grows anymore, we had to bring in chairs a minute ago. So we may have to bring them over here and then change the rooms. So just be aware of that. We're excited about it. We've got loaner machines for almost everybody. If anybody has any extra chargers around, we have 3 machines over there that somebody has walked off with the chargers, and so we need to get those fixed. Talked to Tanya early this morning, and she's helping in the quest to get all this stuff. So we're going to have machines for everybody, I think, for loaners, and we're going to have an opportunity to have them come and grow with us. 3 words for this semester. 3 words. Communication, concentration, completion. We want you to move this semester, all right? We love you to death, but we have 40 new people coming up, and if we continue to increase like that, we're going to be a big program, which will be wonderful, but with that comes, its own problems. But I welcome those problems. I'm glad for those problems. I have a little saying for you. Practice you must, or sit there you will. Okay, so you can kind of see already what my direction is for this semester. I didn't choose an animal this semester. I found this little saying that I put on the sack pack: dust settles, you don't, or I don't. Dust settles, but we're not settling, all right? So we're going to do everything in our power to move you along and help you on your journey. We expect you to do the same. There are several new things that we're going to be doing. The first thing is there will be no extra assignments of any kind for you this semester. So you don't have to do vocabulary, you don't have to do read back, except in class. The teachers are instructed for read back in class, but you're not going to have to do all of that as extra assignments. Now, if you're taking an academic class, of course, there'll be some assignments in that and some things that you'll have to do. But other than that, you don't have to do anything else except keep a practice log. That's the only thing that you're going to be expected to do on a weekly basis. Now, that's very important for several reasons. It's not so that we can particularly check up on you. However, if we see that you're not getting your any hours on your practice log done, and please don't just make them up, okay? It's so easy to just, check it off. But let's be really transparent, and let's really be honest this semester about what we're doing and what we're not, because it's really obvious. If you don't practice, you're not going to advance as quickly. Now, there's some very wonderful natural people that can do it without much practice, but most of us have to practice everything that we do. So in your sack pack and on Canvas, there will be a practice log. This needs to be turned in to whatever speed teacher you have at the time. I would say the following Monday. So start today with it and then turn in your first one next Monday. All right, so or on Canvas if you want to do that. Joy will graciously keep up with those also. Okay, so the first important thing, and really the only thing that we're asking you to do outside of practicing and doing your work, is this practice log. Now, I think that's pretty fair. And I think as a result that you can work with that and you can get that done, get it to us. The second reason that we're doing this and insisting upon this is that we are going for NCRA accreditation this semester. There will be a site visit sometime this fall. We're not sure exactly when it will be yet, but they're going to be coming around and asking for certain things. And one of the things that they ask for is a practice log. So we're going to have those. We're going to be prepared, and we'll have those to hand to them when they come. Now, the SAC pack will look very similar. You may have already seen them out there. They are there. If I need to see how many actually physical SAC packs you take so that I don't run off just a whole lot of unnecessary ones. But in the SAC pack, you will have, as usual, at one set of each dictation level. So there'll be a jury charge, there'll be a literary, there will be a testimony in it. Now, for the high-speed class, of course, that doesn't last but one day usually. But for the rest of you, it lasts a bit. So you'll have that. They are usually, I try to get them done every Friday. I send them to Joy. She posts them on Canvas. So you can literally have that for most of the weekend whenever she gets it posted. So there's no reason that you can't go ahead and look ahead on those, practice some of the words that are new or different to you, build your dictionaries, whatever you need to do in order to be prepared for class on Monday. Okay? Other things we're including in the SAC pack will be some theory reviews. Francis has written 15 theory reviews that we'll be including in the SAC pack. So they look like something like this. Now, this is Stin Ed. Some of you are not on Stin Ed, so you might have to make some adjustments a little bit, but the words are there and you can still practice them. I also included the Q&A extensions, some of the Q&A extensions. So if you want to use these, you can. If you do not want to use them, you do not have to. These are, this makes it quicker for your Q&A if you can learn these extensions. There will be some other reviews. I have the ED endings listed here. I also this time included 200 troublesome words. So just look through that list. There may be some that you don't know how to write. There may be some that will be new to you. And then just for your own interest and use, I included commonly misspelled words this time. So there will be that type of thing in your SAC pack every week. So make sure you pick up your SAC pack. If you want to take it off of Canvas, that's fine. You can print it out yourself. You can have it, or there will be hard copies here. All summer, and particularly, I went to a leadership conference in Chicago the first part of August, and there was this one lady there who has written a book called Grit. And she has done a study. You've heard, I think if you've watched on Facebook and looked at encouraging court reporting students and looked at other places, you've seen that word thrown out there a little bit. And so this is kind of a word we're going to use this semester. Grit is just the ability to see things through. I think, I know Barbara was a little tense this weekend because she flooded out, what was it, how many years ago?
2015, twice.
Yeah, she flooded out twice in her house, And of course, with all the rain that New Braunfels got and everything else, you know, it was between New Braunfels and San Marcos, it was pretty trying for them, but they had grit and they worked it out and they got it cleaned up. My little granddaughter is experiencing this right now. She is a public school teacher in Rockport.
Oh.
There is no school to go to. There is no apartment for her to go back to. Everything has been destroyed. And so, you know, she's 22, 23 years old, and basically having to, even though she didn't have a lot of possessions, you know, as that she's basically having to rebuild her lives, and she doesn't know she doesn't know if there's going to be a place for her to work. She knows nothing. So she is having to kind of hitch up her pants and, you know, show some grit and get through this. So grit is going to be our word. I don't know if you all are familiar with Will Smith, right? You know who Will Smith is, okay? Well, he has said, he's quoted as saying, and Angela quoted him in this book, that he didn't care. You might be better looking than he is. You might be a better actor than he is. You might be wealthier than he is. You might have more possessions than he has. But he's made this statement: one thing you're not going to beat me at is if you get on a treadmill with me, I'll die on the treadmill. You will not beat me on the treadmill. And so that's really the story of grit. She did a study of West Point graduates. She also did a study of the Chicago school system, I believe it was, and then she did another comparative study. And in this, what she was looking for was, what is it that keeps people going? And it came back to this one word: they just had the grit to keep going. So I think that applies to us in court reporting school. You know, it's hard, it's tough, it's depressing at times. We shed some tears, we laugh, we do a lot of stuff. But what keeps you coming back is your future and that grit to keep going. You were going to say something?
Yes, what was the author's name, Angela?
Is it Duckworth? I think Duckworth.
Duckworth?
Yeah, I have the book in my office. I'll see about that. All right, so here's what we're going to do as far as the schedule is out. It's got a few little errors in it. Of course, as big as we are in theory, and some of our returning classes are going to be pretty good sized also, we had to move the 60, 80, 100, no, 60, 80, and 80, 100 class to the afternoon. Last year we moved the 120, 140 class to the afternoon, so we may have to be rotating that here and there. So those lower speed classes will actually be meeting starting at 12:30. So tomorrow, and I think, did you go ahead and publish it?
I did.
Okay, the schedule, even with a few little errors, has been published in Canvas, so if you want to go on and look at that, you can, and see where the rooms are, who is going to be in there, and what the times are. I will also tell you that every Thursday evening we will have an open event. So you can come. There will be 3 of us here, possibly 4 of us here. So from theory on up, you can come and get additional help on Thursday evening if you want to. There will be dictation. There will be additional help available. So every Thursday evening from 6 to around 9 or 8:30 to 9, we will be here to help you out. David is teaching the technology class. Most of those of you that needed that, I think, have signed up for it. If you do still need it and haven't signed up for it, just let me know. We can still get you in. He will be teaching that on Monday and Wednesday evenings. There is the English for the court reporters. Many of you have already signed up for that. That will be Tuesday and Thursday at 12:15. Now that may conflict with some of you with your dictation class. Just let me know. We'll work that out. And then Francis is going to be teaching the medical terminology class from 12:15 to 1:40 on Mondays and Wednesdays. So those are our additional classes. Please take advantage of the Thursday night if you can. It doesn't make any difference what speed you're at. We'll get somebody to help and give you something, all right? Any questions about that? I know you probably haven't seen the schedule yet, but it's ready to go. Yes?
What time's the Thursday night class at?
I cannot hear you.
What time's Thursday night?
6? From 6 to 9. All right? So that's scheduling. All right, now. We're going to, since we are not going to ask you for anything extra, we are going to insist that you grade every test you take completely through. You don't stop at 100 errors or 50 errors or whatever and then turn it in. Not going to accept it. You need to be grading your tests all the way through. You need to determine your pattern of errors. Is it little words? Is it unfamiliar words? Are you stopping and trying to think of briefs and phrases? If you're hesitating, those briefs and phrases aren't doing you any good unless you're practicing them. So when you find out and analyze what your errors are, then you can work toward making your hesitations less and get through these tests a little bit better. Again, you're going to grade all the way through your tests. Now, we're going to ask you to turn those tests in, but we're going to give them back to you. All right? So that's a little change too. We're going to give you your tests back. And that way you can look at it, you can practice the errors that you had, you can see where you dropped words, you can totally analyze it. Usually there are about 5 error groups. One of them would be you just dropped the word. The second one would be that you just didn't hear the word. Sometimes we don't hear the word that very well. There could be just typing errors. I think that's kind of silly on your part to ever have a typing error. That just means you didn't go back and edit your paper very well. So I'd prefer not to ever see any typing errors. But sometimes we do have them. Sometimes there's errors in transcription, and then a lot of times it's just a misstroke. So analyze those errors to figure out what you are doing and then take that and work on it. So we're going to we're going to kind of keep that test open for probably the week before we put another one up, okay? So that you'll have time to go back on that. Now you'll say, well, you know, I am very protective of the tests and that sort of thing, but you know, we're just gonna have to make some changes, and we're gonna have to look at some things and see what's causing your stumbling and what's causing your problems. But you've got to cooperate with that also in the fact that you've got to grade analytically and well. All right? So don't turn in a test that you have not graded all the way through. Just don't do that. Don't insult us by doing that, because we're asking you to grade them all the way through, no matter how many errors you have on there. You need to know. You need to be looking at that. You need to check that out. Then we're going to ask you, of course, with the practice log to practice. I think you need to practice, I'd love to see you practice 3 hours a day outside of class. I don't know that you can get that done, but every chance you get to practice, you need to be practicing. Yes, ma'am?
I currently just opened up a Facebook practice log group, and it's for reporting students and reporters, and there's teachers that are going to be practicing as long as there's time, and it's called Court Reporting Accountability Group. You can just go and you can request to be added. I can add you, and people just log for practice time there, and you encourage you. It's different from the other groups, it's just practice logs. So if y'all want to be added,
Okay, and that's strictly just for an extra accountability group.
Yeah,
It's not. It has nothing to do with what we're expecting here.
No. So at the end of the week, you can
So if you want to join that group, that's fine. If you need an accountability partner, some of us do. Some of us, need somebody beside us to encourage us and to push us on all the time. So if you need that, that's a good group to join. But again, that has nothing to do, I'm not going to be looking at it. Probably not even going to be invited to the group. And, that's okay too. That's all right too. So but you're accountable to us, ultimately. Okay? Ultimately, you're in school, you're accountable to us. And we're going to be watching that very closely. It is going to require more grading on Joy's part and the rest of us, but we're willing to do that to help you succeed and get through school. Okay? You've got to do your part. Guys, you've got to practice. This just does not happen by waving your fingers in the air and hoping that some magic things touch them and you can write well. We're also going to be looking at your punctuation. Joy is going to grade differently. She's going to be looking at punctuation errors, which also will help you when you get those tests back and you can look at them and see what we're considering that you have as an error.
I've always thought that. I always wanted those back.
Yeah, well, you're going to get them back now. Yes, ma'am.
So when will we be able to, approximately when do you think the tests will be available, and then where will they be?
To get back?
To get back.
The test to get back. Joy usually designates Monday as her grading day, and she comes up. You come up here?
No.
Okay, she grades at home for those that are turned in, and then of course on Wednesday, if you're here taking the test in person, she'll take those at that time and get them graded. And then all the online tests that come in will be graded by Monday. So I would say Tuesday. How can we get those?
I can upload, I can re-upload.
She can upload them back
I
to
can
you.
put them back into your Canvas page.
So Canvas is going to be important to you. A lot of you
Same
just
place you upload, I'll upload it back there and you'll be able to see it.
okay. A lot of you just blow off Canvas, and you don't check your ACEs. You don't check Canvas. You need to check both. Okay? Because sometimes there's announcements and things that we put out that we have to get to you really quickly. Joy is on we'll have every student that we have enrolled in Canvas, and she'll get, yeah,
51 of them today.
51 of them as of today, okay? And that's not counting you?
So I've asked Judy to tell me which ones are there. It's not all there.
Okay,
So-
okay. All right, good. So anyway, you'll get them back, okay?
If you come here and take the test on Wednesday, you can wait for me to grade it Wednesday afternoon.
If you want to.
Pick it up Wednesday. Or I can post it on your Canvas page, whichever is more convenient for you. Because I grade the Wednesday test before I leave Canvas on Wednesday.
So we'll have our test at 8:30 on Wednesdays.
Correct.
Mhm.
In this room.
But not, and then, because the other ones will be, my class will be like at 12:30, so I will come in for testing.
You will still test on Wednesday. Everybody still tests
At 8:30.
At 8:30, yeah. So
You'll have
Wednesday
time.
afternoon,
You'll have-
you won't have a class.
Right.
Yeah. So Wednesday is still going to be testing day, so if you're in those lower speeds and have an afternoon class, you will not have an afternoon class on that day. You will be testing only. Okay, the tests, again, for those of you that don't know, are given just like the state test is given. The literary, the jury charge, and the testimony all in one sitting. I do want to caution you about something with the testing also. You are given an hour for each test. That hour includes your editing, your corrections, you're transcribing it, your editing, your corrections, and printing. Okay? You don't have the privilege of taking all 3 tests, taking all 3 hours, and then going back and printing. No more. Okay? Those 3 hours includes printing. So if you're here and I want to ask you to honor that at home, if you're going to take it online, you honor that also. You give yourself, now I'm not saying you have to give yourself an hour for each test. One test might be easier than the other. You can take a little more time. But you have 1 hour to get that done. Yes, ma'am?
Is grading included in that hour
Yes, that's your editing.
That's your editing, isn't it?
But
Yes.
after you print it and grade it, that's
After
not,
you print it and then grade it, is that?
it's not part of the state test, though, is it?
No, because you don't get to do that, the state test. So I think you need to have all your editing done. You know, you're grading, if you're grading your own test, which you guys do, that can be after. Okay, that can be after. So no, the actual grading of your test can be after that hour. But please limit yourself to that. We had one student that I'm aware of that sat for the state test and felt like she had it. She was very confident about it, and she sent it to the printer, and it got about halfway through printing, and they called time. They would not let her finish. So that's how serious they are about this 1 hour thing. So we need to be serious too. So does everybody understand that? You have the 3 hours, yes, but by the end of that 3 hours, everything has to be printed and ready to turn in. So I think you're going to have to start calling time. Okay, and I don't care if it's just queued at the printer. I say I don't care. I don't mean to sound callous, but the state doesn't care. If you have a mechanical problem of any kind or a machine problem of any kind or whatever kind of problem you have, we'll try to help you take care of it, but the raw fact is you got 3 hours to get it done and to get it printed out and turn it in. Make sense? Anybody not understand that? Okay, I'm assuming you do. All right. Now, there will not be any more test blitzes. However, by saying that, I'm going to say to you that if you're close on anything, and I mean close, I don't mean that you're at 120 and the last test you turned in was an 84 point something % and you want another test. No, you need to be close. If you are I'd say one thing we did decide that we're going to grade thoroughly everything 90% and over. Okay? So we're looking at your papers, anything 90% and over, we're going to grade. Otherwise, we're just going to check it off because we figure you've already looked at it. So anything 90% and over, we will grade. I would say that if you're in the middle 90s, the 92, 93, maybe even just 90, if you feel like that you are there and would like to request another test, you may. You send those requests to me through email or Canvas. I will get the extra test back to you. So you can test as much as you want to, as often as you want to, if you are close. Sound fair? Okay, so you don't have to wait till the test blitzes. You don't have to wait, 1 week to another week. If you are close, you may request a test, but those requests come to me and me alone, nobody else. And I take care of those. You'll send them back to me and me alone. All right? Because the other people aren't going to know where those tests come from, so I will have a record of them, okay? Any questions about that? Again, make sure you're analyzing your mistakes. Know what your common type of mistakes are. Try to fix it. Work hard. We're going to work hard this semester. We're going to do everything that we can on our part to make things available to you. I will expect that you will do everything on your part, because I don't think you want to sit here and become furniture. Okay? I mean, we love you. We would like to keep you forever, but that's not why you're here. You don't want to grow older with me, okay? No. I want to I encourage you also to please check your ACEs, because you get at the end of every semester an end of course evaluation of your faculty. Some of you don't. I don't know if you just think poofy, that's nothing. But poofy, it's very important to us, because we're judged now. We have to enter them in faculty in the 180 thing that we have to keep a record of everything. And when we don't get those and there's no response, the administration kind of worries about us a little bit. I don't want any extra attention brought to court reporting or its faculty, okay? Not that we're in any trouble, we're not. We've been praised and complimented and encouraged and all this stuff, so we're not. We have extreme support right now. But if we continue to kind of slip in some areas rather than in others, you know, and I think you can be honest. I don't think you need to be mean. I don't think you need to be ugly because maybe somebody made you mad, or I made you cry, or whatever. You know, don't be ugly that way. But please do those faculty evaluations. So check your ACEs all the time. Check Canvas all the time. It just won't hurt, and you might find out some really good things. Like this one good thing. There is a person that is in communication with me that has offered for this semester $100 for anyone who passes all 3 legs of a test at one time.
Which test, a state test or just?
Did you, all 3 legs of your testing,
Okay, so our Wednesday test.
your Wednesday tests. If you pass all 3 legs, $100 comes your way. Is it worth it to practice and study a little bit? I think so. Now, that's not including the extra test. You understand, we're talking only the Wednesday testing 3 legs at one time. $100 comes to you. To me, that would make it worth it, right? That would make me want to study my buns off and get my fingers working. So, that's available to you. I will be the administrator of that amount of money, okay? So, Joy will grade the test, I will look at them again, and we'll make that determination before we hand out the award. But hopefully, we'll have some takers.
How many times per semester can you earn that?
You can earn it any time you want.
16 or 16 weeks.
Wow, didn't want to ask it.
No, you can ask it. This person is willing to fund this, you know. Because, I mean, it's, to be honest with you, that's a little rare
It's a lot rare.
to have somebody pass all 3 legs at one time. It really is a little rare. But with some, you look very puzzled, Rick. What,
So that's on any speed, or just the exit speed?
any speed?
I see Matt's not pressing the brain. That's great.
How much does it cost per semester?
Well,
$600.
5 hours is what? 5 something, 4, 5 something. It's just, I mean, you could pay for next semester. Just saying, it's there. But it has to be all 3 legs. Okay?
Do they still get that free hours in the summer?
Yes, the free hours in the summer is still available. You will go on the college website and look under our degree plans, and they're not posted yet. And the reason they're not posted yet is because I have had a huge fight this summer with district over that summer tuition, because they wanted, okay, so just a little history. Our degree plan used to be 72 hours, which gave us plenty of hours. The college made us reduce it to 60 hours, which meant we had to cut out a few things. We cut out the second technology class as a class. We cut out the second English class as a class. We cut out several other things as a class, because we had to. Well, within that 60-hour, it's not the 60-hour associate's degree program that has drawn the wrath of district. It's the middle one, the level 2 certificate that has 45 hours on it, because we're 1 hour short on it in order to give you the free tuition. So we've had to make a little exception to that. I had to write a justification for it. I mean, I can't do anything else. So Most of you get that anyway, but yes, if you get, what is it, 12? I don't know what the rule is. Do you know?
I think it's 12 fall, 12 spring.
Yeah, 12 fall, 12 spring, you get free tuition. Many of you take that anyway because you take other classes, or you for financial aid reasons, you load up for 12 hours. That's just something for you to think about in the future. I'm kind of mixed on it, because if you get serious about what you're doing here and get out of here, you won't need that extra 12 hours. I mean, you won't need that extra summer tuition. But it's there available for you, and the college is very serious about it. So I think we're going to be posted. I think I won the battle, and we're posted on September the 5th, I believe.
Yay,
So
congratulations.
hopefully you'll see that then. Okay.
Wait, so how does that work with us then?
Doesn't work with you at all. It doesn't bother you at all. It just keeps you at one point in, and it doesn't bother most of you anyway, because most of you don't take 12 hours every semester. If you take 12 hours every semester, you'll get it. If you don't take 12 hours every semester, then you don't get it, but then they're looking at that being an inequality issue, which it is or it isn't. They are, of course, and I say they, I'm talking the district, is pushing the associate's degree, but as you well know, you don't even have to have an associate's degree to get out of here and start working. So I don't see it being a bone of contention. They do, and so it's been a really long battle this summer. But I think we're still going to get posted. I think we're still in good graces, so, you know, they're learning to understand our program. And that's been the big education push this summer, is teaching all these people. And even at that, with the new theory students coming in, I had one counselor sitting over somewhere that said, we don't have a court reporting program here on this campus. And I wanted to scream, because I don't know how many times I've even met with them, you know, to tell them, yes, we do, and this is what we have. But, you know, and they wanted to put them in math. Oh, math is a big, huge push right now. You got to get in math. No, you don't. No, you don't. Our degree plan says math or. So, if you're good in math, that's fine. You take it, get the credit for it. But if you don't like math, and most of us don't, then you take the or classes, or class, and you get your certificate, your degree that way. Okay. So, there's a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of things that I do behind the scenes that you never know about, but we're pushing forward, and I'm excited about where we are and what's going on. As you guys may have already heard, Alvin did close their program. They are in a 2-year teach out, and it's very, very sad, because Alvin was one of the premier programs, I think, in the country, and it's very sad. It's a very sad time for them. So we want to be as encouraging and as positive as we can to all of those that are struggling through that. So you really are allowed to have fun while you train to be a court reporter. You really are. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Pace yourself. Work hard. Practice diligently, but also build in some time for rest and for fun. This should be a rich and exciting period of your life, not a depressing, sad period of your life. But you've got to keep a balance. I would encourage you to come every day. I recall back in theory when nobody wanted to miss a day of theory. We may have made it a little too easy for you to make those decisions by putting things online. Some of you I can trust to do what you need to do online. Others of you, I think, maybe use it as a crutch. And so I'm going to encourage you not to do that. Some of you are online because you have to be online. And I'm glad we have it. Glad we have it for you. But if you're an on-campus student, you get so much when you come to class. that I think you need to make it a point to come to class unless you have a very good reason. Which brings me to my really last point, and that is communication. I have discovered even this summer that there have been some very heartbreaking, unusual circumstances for some of our students. But we did not find out about it until after the semester was over, and some of them got Fs. And then all of a sudden they're in my office crying, well, you don't understand, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. No, I do understand. I really do. But I can't do anything about it, nor can I communicate it to the faculty if I don't know. So I'm not asking you to tell everybody your problems. But if you have a situation, you can trust me. I'm going to keep it to myself. I would not even begin to tell you the heartbreak, one of the heartbreak stories, and it's incredibly sad, incredibly sad. But I'm going to honor that person's request not to say anything. If I need to address a teacher about it, I will. I may not go into any detail. Usually there's a reason if I ask for grace to be given to a certain person. But if I don't know, if you're not communicating, then I have no way of knowing how to help you. So it's not fair for you to get mad at us or to come back with throwing in my face that we don't care. You're talking to the wrong person, because I probably care more than anybody else. And I've cried with you, I've laughed with you, I've encouraged you, I've gone through a lot of stuff with a lot of people. But again, if I don't know, I can't help you. I'm just not able to help you because I'm not going to make it up. All right? So, as I said at the beginning, communication is probably the key to your success. That and your concentration and your completion. I have made little cards for you that say Future CSR. We're going to put your name on them and you check off your speed, and we're going to be posting them like we do these. Joy is going to be working with a new bulletin board out there, getting it up to date, because I don't think it's up to date, and she's going to change some things on it. So you'll have visible records of what you've done, what you've turned into us here on this board, and then also on that board out there beside my office.
It's current as of the end of the summer, so be
Okay.
sure, check it if you want to, and
Okay.
let me know if it's.
Make sure it's up to
I
date.
missed you.
Okay, now I'm going to turn it over to Joy and maybe Cheryl in just a minute, but I was wondering if there's any questions before we end. Do you have any questions of me? As you know, my door is always open. I'm generally always here, and one of us is generally always here, and we're here to help you and to guide you through this journey. I want to see, we've had some good successes. Even in this summer, we had some really good successes. But I'm not going to settle. Dust does. And I'm not going to settle for just our good successes in the past. I'm going to expect good successes in our future. Welcome back, and get to practicing. Okay? Any questions? Anybody have any questions? Speak now, and don't be afraid. Anything's fair game to ask.
Okay, sir.
I have one,
Okay.
but it pertains to, I would like to bring my little tiny printer with me for test days. If I hook it all up ahead of time, test it out, make sure it's gonna be very calm.
I'm okay with
I
it.
do that, because of
I'm okay
state
with that.
testing, I wanna get used to that.
Okay, and that's fine. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Thank you.
Another question? Did I see your hand? Yes.
Does the 3-hour testing on Wednesdays pertain if you're just going to school online?
If you're what?
Going to school online?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to talk about that.
Yeah,
next
Joy's
meeting.
going to talk about that because she really handles the online, but yes. The 3-hour testing does apply. Your 1 hour per leg does apply. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean, I guess, necessarily we don't know if you sit there and do all 3 at one time. I'm not going to say that particularly, because you may have a situation where you take one and then you take another. But whatever you take, whichever one you take, you have 1 hour. Okay, so if you work on your lit on one day, you have 1 hour. We would prefer that you take them all at one time because that's why we have it that way. So if you might need to wait till the weekend in order to where you have a 3-hour block to sit down and take your tests. I would really prefer it that way. Not sure it always happens that way, and I have no control over that because I'm not going to be proctor you and be over your shoulder. That's what they do with the RPR. They've hired a company called Proctor You, and they set up a camera and they look over your shoulder and they watch you doing it. We're not there, and I don't think we're ever going to get there. I think there has to be a portion of trust built in there too. So, all right, any other questions? Yes, no, maybe? Ask it now. And don't talk among yourselves and come up with something else, okay?
About the schedule,
Uh-huh,
because like I'm taking the medical for reporting.
I know. Yeah.
English.
There's
so-
going to be a little bit of conflict there. Just talk to the teacher. You'll talk to me about the English, talk to Francis about the medical, and we'll get something worked out for you. Okay, so don't stress about it. We'll take care of you. Okay. Any other questions? So one thing that we try to do above anything else is find solutions. So I think we've been pretty good about helping you navigate. And we'll continue to do that if we know. If we don't know, you're on your own. Okay. Good luck to everybody. I'm looking forward to a very, very great, successful semester. And remember, dust settles, but we don't. All right, Joy?
Okay, Canvas, real quickly, because the camera's fixing to run out. If you are
Isn't
an
it
online
that word?
student, everything you do will be done through Canvas. This is the main page that you come to. This is your home page. The number is CRTR 1291001. When you log into Canvas from the main page after you log into ACES, this is what you'll see. There's a little bit of information right here telling you how to get started. Read that and follow the directions. If there are any announcements, they'll show up here, although you will get notifications of announcements if you're set up for notifications. The assignment tab is the most important tab. Always be sure you sort by date, because that's going to let it show up the way it needs to show up. You've got some stuff at the very beginning that is optional. This tells you that there's an app that you can put on your phone. This is a copy of the schedule that Ms. Woodard just showed you. This is a week 1 SAC pack that she just showed you. When you click on it, it takes you to a link that opens it in a PDF, and then you can print it out. Okay, back to assignments. Some of these assignments are just things that are informational. The 2 main assignments that you're going to need to deal with each week, 3, the SAC pack, the practice log, and the PC mock for the current week. This is where your mock will be uploaded. This is not where you will see it, or download it. This is where you will upload it. This is a copy of your form that you fill out for the cover sheet. This is a copy of the code of honor saying you did what you were supposed to do and you didn't cheat. Those 2 things should be attached to your test each week. You will go to the wiki, which Cheryl's going to talk about in just a minute, to get your test. When after the week is over, you'll see grades posted. You will only see a check or an X. A check means you turned it in. An X means you didn't. That's all there is to grades that you will see on Canvas. We look at those checks and X's at the end of the semester, though, when we're determining your grade for the semester. So make sure you do them. All this other stuff is just extra stuff. I like that word, stuff. A lot of the assignments tabs there's some forms here. There's the Eclipse contract. Don't catch yourself at the end of the semester with your Eclipse contract running out. I had that happen this summer. Make sure you've got that current and on file. If you send it to me, I will forward it to Mr. Hopkins, and he will take care of making sure that you're in there. It doesn't happen automatically. You have to do it. These are the testing forms. Again, that's just the cover sheet. This is a StenEd dictionary that is a partial dictionary that Ms. Valen uploaded for you a couple of semesters ago. It's a good place to start. This is the practice sheet, practice log that she talked about that you need to do every week. You also need to upload it every week. And this is, some of this other stuff will change. It's just for your information. SAC pack, practice log, PC mock. 3 things that you need to look at every week. The Canvas page is updated every Friday. As soon as I get the SAC pack from Ms. Woodard, I update that the next following week. Your test is available on the wiki on Wednesday morning. You can either come to campus and take the test here in this room with me at 8:30, and you will take it, you will complete it, you will turn it in, and then I will go grade it that same day. Or you can take it online. Online, you have until Sunday night at midnight to turn it in. Monday morning, I get up on Monday morning and start grading everything that was turned in on Sunday. I grade your test, and I will then return it back to you and tell you what I found that was different to what you did, or tell you that it's the same. Either way, I'll send it back to you through Canvas. Make sure that you are communicating with us on a regular basis through Canvas as well as through ACE's email. Any questions about Canvas right now? It couldn't get more simple.
Julie, go back up to the top and show the type, to sort by type.
Oh, I thought we were supposed to sort by day. Okay, that's even better. Sort by type, don't sort by day. The app tells you that there's an app you can put on your phone. This is just some information. The Eclipse contracts, StenEd dictionary. These are documents. And at the end of this week, all of these things are going to go to the end. You're not going to see them every week. You'll start seeing the current week at the top. So if you sort by type, you'll see week 2 beginning next week. These 3 things are the only 3 things that I'm going to be looking at from you. The other stuff is just there for your information. Thank you. I had that backwards.
And since we don't
Sort by
use the
type.
due dates, it really does put it in a better order if you'll always sort it by type.
Sort by type. Be sure, thank you. If you haven't already picked up one of these packets, pick it up, sign the sign-in sheet. I want the top page turned in to me if possible before you leave today. And the rest of it, Mr. Hopkins needs the Eclipse contract. The rest of it is for your information. All right? I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Valen now and talk about the wiki because it's probably more important to you than Canvas.
And I'm afraid the camera's going to run out of time because it will only record for an hour. So I'm going to give the online people my phone number in my office, 486-0537. You can call me if you have questions about the wiki. So if the camera goes off, you can call me. Just a couple of things. I think Ms. Gunther did put a link to the wiki from the Canvas course. And I would suggest that you always start from the home page, even though it's so easy to bookmark your favorite page that you're using for dictation. But we do use this page just for some announcements. So if you'll always just start there, that's the page that you need to bookmark. During the summer, I did create a high-speed dictation page. You'll need to request access to that. And to get access, just go to the page that you want, and within that page, request access. You'll have to put a little code in there, then it sends me an email, and I can grant you access. If your email does not have your name in it, just tell me who you are so that I can verify that you're enrolled with the list that I'll get from Ms. Gunther. The schedule is on here. I think it will be updated. It did have a couple corrections that needed, right here, that needed to be changed. And then this is a link to get into Canvas. So we've sort of cross-listed both of those courses. Your fall classes, if you're taking the English class with Ms. Woodard or the Eclipse class with Mr. Zarate, or the medical terminology with Ms. Irvin, they will put their dictation or their assignments on those wikis. You have to be enrolled in that class to request access. Once the semester is over, if you want to go into those courses, you may, but only if you're enrolled for this semester. Now, on the test wiki, it says available from Wednesday morning until Sunday at midnight. Please follow that. I usually check Monday morning to see the last person that was on there. And if you're on there after Monday morning, I'll usually send you an email just to say, tell me why. If you're going to be taking, or Ms. Gunther gave you access or permission to take a test later, just let me know. Send me an email, call me, just leave me a message, tell me that you're going to be on there. My email isn't ugly, it just says I noticed that you were on the test wiki, and would you please tell me why? So all you have to do is tell me. The orientation video will be right here if you think you missed something, and we'll post that as soon as I get it in up on YouTube. In Canvas, one thing that I would like to point out is that you can change your email in Canvas to your favorite email, so that anything that we're sending you from Canvas will go to your favorite email. And on the SAC website, when Ms. Woodard was talking about the free courses for summer, there is a slideshow as soon as you open up the SAC website of important things that are happening. We also have a Facebook page that is San Antonio College. I already told you to sort by type, start from the home page, and then the test wiki when it's open. And then Ms. Woodard just asked me to tell you that we won't have class today, but you're welcome to stay and use the lab to practice. While we're still recording, and it sounds like it's still recording, does anybody have a question about the wiki? There is so much dictation on the wiki. You should never run out of anything. You also can change the speed if you're using Windows Media Player just by right-clicking and going to Enhancements and then change the speed. So if you're listening to a 60 and you want to bump that up to an 80, or you're listening to a 120 and want to drop it down to 100, each one of those little dots on that speed register is equal to about 10 words. No questions? All right. Ms. Gunther, do you have anything else to say?
No, does anybody have any questions at all?
And you have my number now. Don't hesitate to
They
call
also
me.
have a sheet in this packet that has your,
Oh, probably,
your
with the wiki information. All right, have a good semester. Don't hesitate to ask us questions if you have them, and we'll just see you, I'll see you online.
I will too. And probably talk to you that way a lot.
Thank you.
All right.
Anybody else have these sheets ready to turn in? Please let me have them.
This is the
With